What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got John Abraham back on once again. Always great to have you on the show, Abe.
Good to be back, man. Still patiently waiting for the third A to jump in one day, but it's okay. We glad to get time off and spending time with the family, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, she made an appearance for our Ricky Waters interview, which will be coming out July 7th, so stay tuned for that, and we'll get her back on soon. She's taking a little break, but she can't take too long of one.
Right, right.
So this is our 2025 AFC North preview. Again, I'm excited for the season to start now. That's why we're doing these. Can't wait for training camp to get going. We had a fun episode last week talking about the AFC East. So here we are, John, for the AFC North. And the Ravens have won back-to-back division championships and look like they're on pace to win a third. Do you see anything really stopping them? The Bengals are going to be good. The Steelers get Aaron Rodgers, but the Ravens have got to be the favorite, right?
Yeah, definitely the favorite, but winning the championship is the thing for them. Like Lamar Jackson, even with the MVPs and I guess you can throw a little bit of Josh Allen in there too. Like these are the two guys that are going to have the biggest. I think the game that they play, or this is going to be who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I think they play the first week. Those guys, Buffalo plays Baltimore the first week, and this is going to be a definitely a huge measuring stick from which team did the best off season. And sure you got 16 more games, but everyone's going to be so hyped for this game because they feel like Buffalo had a possibility of making it. Yes, and Baltimore had a possibility of making it, and either one of these teams should have been in the championship game for the Super Bowl. So it's going
Yeah.
to be a season of, are we tired of Lamar Jackson or are we tired of Josh Allen? Just being real, people are always saying, they're going to get it, they're going to get it. And not saying he ain't going to get it in year 15. Look at, might have a, you might have an Elway type thing. Later
Yeah.
you get your ring, but I think a lot of people are going to stop looking as much or stop going to be as excited at just seeing the runs. People want to see the wins now.
Yeah, exactly. They've had so much regular season success. Can they get it done in the playoffs? And really, the big team in their way is the Chiefs, and Mahomes and Andy Reid and those guys. So we'll see if they can get past them. But yeah, the Ravens are seeking their third straight division championship. The Bengals had won two in a row before that. They missed the playoffs last year. We'll see if Cincy can get back to it. The Steelers, how surprised are you, John, that the Steelers haven't won a division championship since 2020? Um, and do you think Aaron Rodgers can deliver that? Get them win that division with Rodgers?
Not at all. You know damn well that they have Lamar Jackson, and we still got Cincinnati Bengals that are
Yeah.
possibly can be a good team this year. I'm not sure if the Bengals are still a Super Bowl team. I think they had that great year, and I just can't see with Baltimore being in that division, and even Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh defense is going to stop way more people than they think. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the key. He wasn't the key for the Jets. I don't think you're going to see anything. He's going to throw for 3,000 to 4,000 yards. He's going to get his same numbers he get because he's a good quarterback. I mean, but saying that he only won one championship and everybody feel like that this is going to be his second championship, but
Yeah.
I don't see the same thing that people see. It's different if you have a guy like Peyton Manning went to one team and they brought in things to fit with Peyton Manning. Now they're trying to bring him in to fit their scheme. He came in it's not like they brought him in first and then brought pieces with him. They just really just like, okay, come on here to Pittsburgh. We feel like you're going to be the guy that does it. Just watch and see if these guys are going to really be under his wing. Is he the kind of leader that's going to show these guys, we can go past this? And he's only done it once. He's like a guy that can get a lot of sacks, a guy that can get a lot of tackles, but their team's not winning. A lot of times, a lot of the success doesn't go to the team. So we want to see that in Pittsburgh. And I think I've seen somebody commentating saying that this might be the first year they go 8-9. because they're putting so much pressure on just Aaron Rodgers of doing the game. Like the running game, we're not sure the running game is going to be good. I think we kind of missing the old Pittsburgh style, like having that 1,000-yard rush every year. But I'm talking about a bruising style rush to keep the defense off the field. When the defense get on the field, they're kicking butt. So let's see if they can bring this defense back. And they kind of juggling whether they're going to keep the why, which just everything this off season is just so weird because you get so accustomed to seeing certain people in certain places, and then when you start seeing that their names are not solidified or they're not that guy, and there's some names you just don't feel like should be traded or should go anywhere.
Yeah, T.J. Watt for sure, and I think they'll get that deal done. Hopefully sooner than later. And then the Cleveland Browns, they're in a bit of a retooling, readjustment. They haven't won a division championship since 1989. But let's talk about the Ravens some more. We got the two stars on offense, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. You got Roquan Smith as the anchor of the defense. But they did bring in some veterans. They bring in DeAndre Hopkins at receiver. We'll see how much impact he can have. And how about an addition today, just breaking today, a 1-year, $4 million deal for Jair Alexander, and you can now put him opposite Marlon Humphrey, and that's a pretty good 1-2 at corner.
No, that was a great pickup. I'm surprised Atlanta didn't go for that guy. Just because I live in Atlanta, and if I can see somebody you can get for that kind of money, even if he has a good year this year, then maybe you can sign him to a bigger deal. But I think the biggest probably the rookie of the year is going to be Mike Green. I think of Mike Green. Yeah. I think they got him for cheap, and I understand the off the field issues, but I think that guy, watching him play 17 sacks in college, a complete motor, and now he has motivation of showing people why he went so late. And people don't understand the rationales when you're good and you have a guy that's good, like when nobody's only going to be on the other side. I know he's going to do nothing but help him more on the off-field situation about football, not just on the field. Like the guy can pass rush, so he's going to get techniques from Kyle, but the biggest thing is going to be showing him how to be a pro. And I think people don't understand finding that level is what really going to make you a better athlete and also make you a better, team player. So I think, and I think him having the issues early probably help him more than it's going to hurt him in his long-term in his career.
Yeah, I love that pick. It's a great value pick in the second round, and Kyle Van Noy is a great mentor for him and can teach him a lot. And Van Noy has been so productive the last 2 years as well. So that's a fun combo there. And then at safety, I love that they got Malachi Starks in the first round, and you team him up with Kyle Hamilton. That might be, that's one of the best safety combos in the entire league, in my opinion. So
yeah. I think they drafted with the perception of learn, and it's going to be your team eventually. But I think they did a good job of finding guys that are capable of learning and capable of a sky's the limit type situation. Having a guy like you said, like having Kyle Hamilton, and maybe having him playing free now, maybe having him playing strong, having him being able to switch up and play different things, it's going to definitely it's definitely going to open up their defense to more things. And like I said, I really feel like that Mike Green might have been the steal just because he's a young guy and he's hungry now. He don't really have nothing else to do now. Like when you fall in the draft and you feel like you should have went higher, but you're going to a Super Bowl contending team with all professional stars, Lamar Jackson professional, Derrick Henry professional. Like you said, even Watson that just came in. All these guys are just D-Hop. I'm sorry, D-Hop. All these guys that they're bringing, Jair Alexander. He's just around all adamant pros.
Yeah.
So like no name that we can say on their team, like aside from somebody they release, we're not going to worry about that. But you can't really say anybody that's on their team that feel like, oh well, he might be a bad seed. No, it's like everybody is prepared. Everybody hard workers, and it's the type of team that you think that should win a Super Bowl. And I think the pieces they added are definitely going to be helpful for them too to get there.
Absolutely. And one thing to keep an eye on, the Ravens had a reliable, star kicker for so many years in Justin Tucker, who could hit you game winners from 60 plus yards. But we started to see the drop off in his production. He had a career high in missed field goals last year. And then all the off field stuff. the Ravens end up releasing Justin Tucker. They drafted kicker Tyler Loop in the 6th round. So we'll see if Tyler Loop can, be a reliable kicker and fill in for Tucker and make some big kicks. He's going to be called on to hit some clutch kicks late in games. So we'll see if, that's a good pick. And I also like wide receiver LeJontay Wester out of Colorado. 2 good value picks in the 6th round as well. I love what the Ravens did in the draft.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick. I'm not sure if a 6th-round receiver is going to stick on the team, maybe scout team or something like that. I don't look too far in the depth of that. I think with sorry, I think with bringing Hops in, that's going to be probably at least your 3rd receiver. That D Hop, and he might be a 2nd or maybe even a 1st if he can rejuvenate his career. So I don't see the 6th round being so. And even with how the special teams are now, how they kick the ball, how they do certain things, it's not as amazing watching special teams like it used to be.
Yeah, 100%. But I like what they've done. They didn't go crazy in free agency, but I thought they had a really good draft. They brought back a lot of the key pieces. I see no reason why this team can't win, 11 to 13 wins again. And I expect them to win the division for a 3rd straight year. And then to me, the key is home field advantage. If you're going to beat the Chiefs or the Bills in the playoffs, you need that home field. You want to end Baltimore. So I think that needs to be the goal. Start with winning your division, but ideally get the number 1 seed going into the playoffs, right?
Right, but winning their division isn't amazing, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything. But if you look at the last 3 years, I mean, Cleveland Browns, you have the Steelers, who they might be 9-8 or whatever, but I mean, you think about that might be the curse of them, the division that they play in. Not saying making them soft, but if you know you can like pretty much prance through your division, then you get into playoffs and you're kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's looking different. Like you win in 11 to 13 games, like you said, but then you get in the playoffs and then just don't look the same as spectacular because you're playing in a division that is up and down. Like there's no like literally you're the top of the division, but the division isn't that strong anymore.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm hoping it will be better this year and more competitive. I hope the Bengals bounce back. We know that they're talented enough offensively. The big question for Cincy is defensively. And then for the Steelers, they're banking a lot on, a 41-year-old quarterback, 4-time MVP and a former Super Bowl champion, but he's 41 years old. He hasn't, he's had injuries and hasn't been in the playoffs since 2021. He's had a losing record since 2021, 14-21 record. So we'll see if Rodgers can get back going. But I have a hard time seeing the Steelers being worse. I think that Rodgers is better than anything they've had. I think he's better than Russell Wilson and Justin Fields were last year. Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, he's better than those guys. I think he's the best quarterback option they've had since Big Ben late in his career. Knock on wood, hopefully Aaron Rodgers stays healthy and can perform that way, but they're going to, I don't know. What do you think? Do you expect Rodgers to, protect the football most importantly and just play ball control and let the defense do their thing, right?
Well, I guess it's a good and bad thing saying Aaron Rodgers is the best thing since Ben. That is I'm sorry, that's pretty bad. It's a 41-year-old quarterback that had 2, not saying down years because his numbers weren't as bad as people say they were, but not been winning the last couple of years. And to say that's your best option, I don't think that's a great option to say. I mean, regardless of how you feel about him as a player from his past, and you totally can judge somebody on that, but saying that automatically because you input him was the same thing they said with the Jets, and you see how that ended up. So obviously you got to have everybody on the same page. The offensive line got to play well, and I think he has to do a better job of making sure all the receivers touch the ball. And I'm saying not trying to worry about the deep ball as much. I hope they implement the short passing plays to keep the ball in the grind type things. And he definitely going to have to hit a lot of DK Metcalf to keep him happy because he just got a big contract. He think he's the man now. Well, he knows he's the man now, pretty much. You know, they let go of the other guy and they let him go to Dallas. So this is his team. So I would want to have DK to get 100 catches this year, just simply because I want to make sure that he's happy. And if he's happy, you know, the name George Pickens will be wiped out of the books. You know, and then Aaron Rodgers, even if Aaron Rodgers doesn't win a Super Bowl, this can set him up for them wanting him to bring him back because you made that guy happy. DK will go talk for him. DK will go fight for him. It would give Coach a way better sense of what's going on for at least another year. You know, Mason Rudolph is there, but you know nobody around him. So you know it is what it is. Yeah. You know, we kind of want to see Aaron and we want to see him happy. And I don't think this will be his last year if they can win 10 games. But like I said, in this division, it's so like iffy, you really can't tell. Like maybe by week 6 or 8, we can tell like who's going to be good or who's going to be bad. Is Aaron really Aaron again? Are they doing the smart passing plays, like not worrying about getting Aaron 400 yards a game, maybe get him 200 to 300, but making sure DK get his 7 to 10 catches a game? Like things like that are what's going to implement this game. And definitely the running game is going to have to step up. Like I want to see a running game where you look in the stat sheets and you see like, oh, the end of the year, 1,600-yard rusher or something like that, which they haven't had in a while. You know, he had a 1,000-yard rusher. But it was his impact was, it's 17 games, you get 1,000 yards is not that amazing in my mind, period.
Yeah. Yeah. They could definitely use some help there. We'll, get a balanced offense going on there. I like the DK Metcalf coming in, but then they trade away George Pickens. I'd like to see another wide receiver brought in, whether that's Alan Lazard or somebody. They did sign Robert Woods, but he's coming off a career low with just 20 catches in 2024. You've got, who are their receiving options? You've got Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson coming off of injury, Scotty Miller, Ben Skowronek. Outside of DK Metcalf, I'm just not seeing a lot there. So I would love to see. I like Calvin Austin, and we'll see what Robert Woods has left, but I'd like to see someone brought in as a number 2 opposite DK Metcalf, someone that Aaron Rodgers has some familiarity with,
No, I agree with you 100%, but also you're a 4-time MVP quarterback. I want to see you in this situation where you have one guy and you make everybody else good around you. Like I'm tired of like they always giving the quarterbacks, like I've been around quarterbacks and they always bring them weapons. And me being a D lineman, not saying they didn't try to give me weapons, but I never got the opportunity to be like, oh, let me get a guy that getting 10 sacks on the other side, and let me get a guy over here. Let me get it. But I was a good player, but I never got built around. And then they say how good the quarterback is after, you give him this guy, give him this guy, or you give him a great running back, you give him a great O-line. Now he could be great.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm not mad about the situation, but it's aggravating as hell because, other people play the position. You have other great players. Like you got Michael Parsons that could be a great defensive player, but are y'all giving the right thing? I think if you look at Lawrence Taylor, and if you look and you think about how hard Harry Carson talks about it, he was like, y'all don't understand. All of this was good. Not saying that Lawrence wasn't that guy, but in order for Lawrence to be able to play like he could play and do all the stuff, everybody else had to be right because a lot of times Lawrence would be doing his own thing, and they had to make sure they back up for him. So him and if you listen to Harry Carson and listen to stuff like that, that's stuff like on the defense you want to see people build. Like even like we're going to talk about Cleveland and talking about, oh boy, like he was ready to go because like y'all ain't bringing in guys I need. Y'all keep giving me this and giving me that, but Miles was kind of like, it's not like I don't want to be here, but every year y'all saying that y'all trying to upgrade our defense, but you're not giving me anyone. So
exactly.
In this instance, you have a 4-time thing. You are the upgrade guy. Like, so we're not talking about Aaron. We didn't go out here and find this guy. We didn't go out here and try to get this guy. We let go of one receiver, and we feel like you're the guy that we're missing. So we already got the line. We got this. So you're the guy. So it's a totally different option in my mind now. Like Aaron, just like you said, protect the ball, get it to DK. DK is the guy. I don't care if it's short slants. I remember playing with Julio Jones in Atlanta. When he first got here, Roddy was the first guy, but then we knew when it was switching. When we see him his rookie year, like the next year, it was like, okay, this is pretty much Rod. This going to be Roddy's going to have to chill, and Julio's going to be number one. And what they did was they kept Julio getting the ball, like whether it was a short slant or whether it was a screen pass, just so he can get the ball and move up the ball, whether it's a 10-yard run. Because in any instant, he can take it to the house. So hopefully they do things like that. Make sure that he's always in the game. Make sure that he's from first quarter to he should have a catch in every quarter, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to say. If they got the ball and anything, and whenever they get an opportunity, just make sure he touches the ball.
I agree 100%. And that's something Seattle didn't do enough, in my opinion, was feed him. And he's such a beast. You know, I agree. You get the ball in his hands and he can break it for 80 yards for a touchdown. I would be getting him the ball a lot. And I think that's going to be the plan. I think Rodgers is going to feed him a lot. And I think, you know, whether it's reverses, some handoffs, wide receiver screens, do whatever you can to just get the ball in his hands. I think he's going to be the clear number one option offensively, along with like Pat Freiermuth and guys like that. I agree. The running game is a little bit concerning. You know, Najee Harris leaves in free agency, so now the pressure is on Jaylen Warren as the number one guy. But they did draft Caleb Johnson in the third round out of Iowa, and I actually like Caleb Johnson a lot. I'd like to see him get more and more touches. I could see him end up being the number one running back option in the future ahead of Jaylen Warren, but Warren's going to start out getting the majority of those touches.
Yeah, and hopefully his Darius Slay can come do a little something. You know, I think just having him in he kind of looked like a Pittsburgh guy if you see how he plays and everything. So I think that's a good add-on also.
Yeah, I agree. Him and Minka Fitzpatrick. They drafted Derek Harmon, Yaya Black, Jack Sawyer, all on the D line. With Cam Hayward getting older, so now you know you got Derek Harmon. He can help develop him. Darius Slay to go with Joey Porter Jr. So now you got a good 1-2 there. And T.J. Watt, I'm not worried about T.J. Watt's contract. I think they're going to get that figured out before the season. You got to keep T.J. Watt. I think this Steelers team is a playoff team. I don't think their win-loss record is going to be a big difference. I think they're about 9-8, 10-7, 11-6 at best, but probably in that 9-10 win range. And with Aaron Rodgers, if you can just get to the playoffs, then trust Aaron Rodgers to be at his best in the playoffs, and see if the Steelers can win some games in January, because they haven't won a playoff game since Big Ben. So maybe Aaron Rodgers can deliver that, but I don't see the Steelers as Super Bowl contenders.
Not at all. But, we will see a good look on the first week and the 8th week when he played both his old teams. He get to play the Jets the first week, and then week 8 he go play the Packers. So we will get to see him out of his element and try to see him, being on the other side of the ball, playing against his past team. So that'll be good TV, I guess, to watch. Yeah. Hopefully he'll still be healthy. Hopefully he'll still be playing well. And I think we're going to see from game 1 to game 8, so halfway in the season, we'll see if he's still got that excitement because he's playing those teams. So I think that's a good little matchup that we can circle on our thing and be ready to talk about, especially because when Amanda get back and they start talking about Green Bay, she's going to have like a whole 8 weeks to talk to him. this month. So that'll be a good one.
Man, I can't wait for week 1. Some great matchups right off the bat. Ravens, Bills, Jets, Steelers. It's gonna be awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the Bengals. So they missed the playoffs last year, despite being a really good team, especially at the end of the year. But they finished 9-8 because they
had really good players. They were not a really good team, and they're not going to be a really good team this year because you paid those guys, and everybody's happy about paying the receiver. But now, how you acting to Hendricks and how you acting to the draft pick, the defense. Yeah. The defensive players feel that because they love Trey. Trey never did anything wrong. So the defenses start going to feeling like I can go out here and work my ass off and not get paid. You have a first-round pick that's everybody knows when you look at paper, this is what he should get. It's no trickery. It's not like he's trying to ask for more money. He said, just give me what I'm supposed to get. I think this is going to be the biggest thing that shakes up the team simply because those guys. And let's say if one of those receivers don't play as well, which they're going to get yards, but I'm saying that is the defense really going to be up to par, knowing that I might not get paid if I play my butt off? If I get hurt, they're not going to look out for me. He led Trey led the team. He led the league in sacks. Guy's a good man. He does everything right, and now you don't want to pay him. Then you get a pick, and now you don't want to pay the pick. So you might end up having no end this year. So the defense have no real pass rush, and I hope they don't make this guy sit out a year and have to wait to get redrafted. Like, it's just how they did this year. It's a displeasure watching things like this in 2025. Like, when I was in the league, I understand that Cincy was that type of team. You know, you go to Cincy, people were like, didn't want to go to Cincy because of this. There were a few teams that people didn't want to go to. And this shows like why you maybe can't win. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, because you got great players. It's not like the players on Cincy, like you said, they had a good team. No, they did not. They had good players, and people always mistake a good team for good players. Just because you have great players on your team don't mean you're a good team. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
9-8 is 9-8 anywhere you see it. That's not great.
Well, and they always.
Was Pittsburgh a great team last year? No.
No.
Did they have great players? No. What was their record? 9-8. Shut up. They had great players.
This is what I mean by that, though. They always start the year out 0-3, 1-4. You know what I mean? And then they turn it on eventually, and they get on a roll. But they're on a winning streak, but they are still recovering from that slow start, so they can't even make the playoffs.
Why do they have a slow start? Because they have a slow off season.
Exactly, and they don't pay their guys.
Lamar, Jamar, they post played him. They post played like every year, and now they're doing the same thing this year. Now
the same shit.
People are not coming into work happy. Like, think about it, like, you gotta understand. So Trey's not around, so they don't have that leadership. Then we have a rookie that's standing out looking like, why ain't in practice? So he had to leave mandatory practice because I ain't got no contract, and I can't be out here like doing weird stuff. So, and all this stuff is going to bleed into the season. It's not like you just come and see that. Like, even, I don't know, like last year was cool. You know, Chase had a great year and he deserved all the money he got, but it might have came with more vengeance. So now he can kind of relax now. So he ain't worrying about. He might not be worrying about getting all these, because he's trying to stay healthy so he can make all this money. Not saying it's something that people do, but it's a mentality thing. Once you get paid, it's like, oh, I can relax now. And not saying you're not going to play hard, not saying you're going to do this, but everybody gets start smelling themselves a little bit. You know, if I drop this ball, I ain't worrying. I got $100 more million that they got to pay me, so I know I'm going to be here. So I might not lead the league this year, but I can still have a pretty decent year and be all right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how they doing it, like. And even when they pay you, man, it still feels like, you know, they don't mess with you. You know, it's like even though, because like stuff like with Trey right now, he said like all this, it ain't even about the business thing. It's like some of the stuff is just kind of personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like coming back to play with these people, like, it's not saying you don't want to because you're getting paid well, but it's still gonna leave a taste in your mouth. You know?
No, and that's the thing is, we've heard players say it before, and it always seems to be over and over again. The Bengals just fight to pay their guys. They never want to pay their guys. They always, how funny is it? The rookie comes in and he's got the quote of the offseason so far. The Bengals are much more interested in winning arguments than winning games. And that's a damning quote from a rookie coming in. And we've heard Carson Palmer say something similar back in the day. Do you think this is something that other players will look at the Bengals and see this, and that might discourage some potential free agents from wanting to sign in Cincy? Do you think that's something that could be?
I think it would have been in the past, but now since they have the cap number at 99%, they're gonna have to pay the guys regardless. So all this little knick-knack we going through, bro, it's just smoke and mirrors. They're gonna have to pay them just like they paid Chase. That's what pisses people off. It's not like it's not written in saying what this guy deserves. It's not like this guy is over asking money. So it like he said, they're more interested in this than they are winning. They kind of like, this is how I want my team to be. I don't want people to like try myself. I don't want people doing this. You know, like it's like a dick swinging contest. It's just like, oh, we're going to give you this. Well, you know, that's not right. Well, I still want you, like, okay, well, you know, that's not right. Like you said, you worried about arguments and it's simple. It's simple and plain with that. Like not with the trade situation, I can understand. Like if y'all want, you just pay these real big contracts. Them are we secure enough that we want to give Trey the opportunity to do this? But with the rookie, it should have been over there. Trey should at least like respect him and not talk to the media about it, or keep it like we're gonna work on it on the off season and push it away, not bringing it into the building that and making it uncomfortable for anybody there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to get Trey Hendrickson paid. I do eventually, like before the season starts. But the big question is going to be that rookie. And I hope they get it figured out with him. I wish they would stop playing games. He's not asking for anything outrageous. He's asking for the same thing that the rookies got, up until now. So the veterans on the team agree with him. So I hope they get it figured out. And it's terrible timing because the Bengals defense was so bad last year, and they lost Sam Hubbard. He retired. Now you're picking a fight with Trey Hendrickson. You don't want to pay him. You're picking a fight with the rookie that is supposed to be Sam Hubbard's replacement. You don't want to pay him. They got a new defensive coordinator in Al Golden, so we'll see if he can help things out. But it doesn't help when your top two pass rushers aren't practicing, So the Bengals they're setting themselves up for another slow start, right?
Exactly what you just said. Just another slow start. Who knows, man? Maybe they might go out and score 40, 50 points a game, and we won't talk about this, but it's definitely going to be something going into the first game if they don't win, going into the second game if they win. It's still going to be something in everyone's mind, like why they just didn't handle this. Like, since it's really, how are you going to try to remove guaranteed money? It's in the CBA. It's nothing amazing. There's nothing that everyone else isn't doing. So, like, why just be like, nah, I'm cool. I'll just sit here and chill. Like, come on, man. Let's just grow up here.
Gotta be so frustrating as a Bengals fan. But all in all, if they do the right things, if they don't get off to a slow start, it's a playoff team, and it's a team that we've seen do damage in the playoffs once they got there before, and they've been to a Super Bowl. So you feel for Joe Burrow here. It's like, just help him out, pay the guys, put a team around him, and Joe Burrow can lead you on a deep playoff run and maybe deliver a championship one day. But the ownership has to do their part as well. And hopefully they do in Cincy. It's a tough division. We'll see how things work out. But talent-wise, roster-wise, this is a playoff team if they just take care of business and come into the season ready to go instead of starting slow like every year it seems to be. Now let's talk about the Cleveland Browns, who I think are going to be the worst team, the bottom of this division. They're slowly building something. They got to figure out the quarterback position. They went 3-14 last year. They, Deshaun Watson is injured. So they bring in Joe Flacco. They trade for Kenny Pickett. And then they draft two quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. How do you see the quarterback situation going in Cleveland? If it were me, I would start Joe Flacco week 1 because he knows the system. He's had success there before. And then go as long as you can with the veterans and then bring in Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, get the rookie some time in the second half of the season.
Well, I can say this honestly as a 15-year vet and I guess a 2 or 3 year, doing a little commentating thing. I don't understand the quarterback room at all. I have no nothing rationalizing me. I think Joe Flacco is a great cover quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback at the moment. I don't think he's the guy. Even when he was in Baltimore, I didn't feel like he was he won a championship, but I didn't feel like he won a championship. It was kind of like he's a great man. I'm not saying he's Kirk Cousins or nothing like that. He won a few more playoff games than Kirk. So, but I'm saying these are just the guys that can stay in the league because they're good managers, but not because they're winning games. They're not like they got no MVPs. They got no leading the league in yards. It's nothing amazing. Like he's great, like mentally to see. Like people, he's a fan favorite. He's a Fitzpatrick type guy. Like if you look at these guys' stats, it's not like y'all be like, oh my God. It's just like, but you're like, oh, Oh, he came back and won that game for him. Then you'll see 2-3 games. Like he didn't do that much in Indy. Like everybody was acting like he came in and they was like, yes, Flacco's playing Indy. He's doing so cool. One game. Then, so it's like all the stuff that they're perceiving is definitely that he's that kind of guy. And I think the only reason why they're saying that he is the starter is because of his experience, not because of they feel like they don't think he can take him to the promised land. They just, I think they were really just being cheap this offseason because they have so much invested in the quarterback. They know not going to play this year, and they just kind of like resting. Like I think they really want to rest their checkbook a little while. I'm like, okay, we can get Joe in here for this, all right, and we can pick we can pick, and then we can get Shedeur. Okay, cool. It's like we ain't spending no money in quarterback room yet. Yes, we paid Miles. We feeling good about that. You know, we got a great guy. You know, coming in. I guess Mason Grant, right?
Yeah.
Mason Grant coming in, so we got this guy. So we got Miles, a guy that can help him immediately. We can relax. Hey, maybe he might be the guy. Sanders might be the guy in a couple of years, but we ain't wasting money right now. We got all these guys for cheap, so let's just ball out this year and whatever happened. Hell, we went 3-14 last year. It can't be worse. We're good.
Exactly.
We know right now that Deshaun is not going to be playing. So let's just chill and maybe we can get him back that year. We can get some of that money from him. Just be honest. Like maybe we can get some of that money from him next year or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It don't look like they made any real treatable quarterback options. Like none, you know?
No, I agree 100%. They're kind of looking 2 to 3 years in the future. This is just a development year. The number one priorities in Cleveland is Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders' development. You know, they got to get the quarterback right. I'm rooting for Shedeur like crazy. I want him to be the guy. And hopefully, I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder after falling in the draft. So far, I've been hearing nothing but positives. The veteran players are talking up Shedeur. The coaching staff is talking him up. And I can't wait. I know I say this and people are going to laugh or whatever. I can't wait to watch some preseason Browns football and see these young rookie quarterbacks and see, that's their opportunity. So
yeah, I don't want to see none of that shit. I'm just saying, I know it's going to be pretty good and pretty bad. It's like you can't really tell from the preseason when it comes to quarterbacks because most people are not going to be playing with the ones. They're not going to see the first team defense. And if he's all the way down to the fourth quarterback, third quarterback, we're not going to see him in there. We're going to see him pretty much in high school again or pretty much in JUCO. Not even his college teammates were better than the ones he's going to be throwing.
Yeah, that's true.
Just being honest and not trying to knock any of the guys they're playing against. You have a lot of guys that are trying to make the team, and I'm just hoping he stays healthy and able to make the team. And even if he don't, and he end up going someplace else, I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise for him. I don't think Cleveland is going to be his final team that he plays with. I think that eventually he's going to, maybe 2-3 years from now, maybe next year, he's going to go to a team and he's going to get put in a spot that he has to be great, and I think he's going to show his greatness.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think it's going to be Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland is the home for him, but you never know, man,
Yeah, we'll see. And the Browns are desperate. If they get one guy to flash and show potential, they'll give him an opportunity because they haven't had a quarterback in so long. They fired Ken Dorsey last year, and they've promoted Tommy Rees to offensive coordinator. He's been offensive coordinator at Notre Dame and Alabama. So we'll see what Tommy Rees does in Cleveland as offensive coordinator. I'm not a huge fan. I didn't like Ken Dorsey, and I'm not a huge fan of Tommy Rees. Again, I think the Browns are going to be pretty bad this year in the win-loss column. But I do like what they did in the draft. John, what do you think of these three names? They drafted 2 running backs, Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. I really like Quinshon Judkins. I think he's got star potential. And then they drafted tight end Harold Fannin Jr. to go with David Njoku. So now you've got that 12 personnel, 2 tight end. And they were comparing Harold Fannin Jr. to Antonio Gates coming out. So that could be a pretty sick combo. You're not buying that yet?
Don't do that to that man.
That's a Hall of Famer they're comparing him to.
And I ain't even trying to be rude. None of them names jumped off the paper for me. None of those names is going to be the reason that they win. Sure, they might have a good running game, but they might not. We don't know as right now. Missing Chubbs has hurt everybody heart, but he's a type runner. I don't know if that offensive line is going to be able to block Well, because Chubbs was a different type runner. Like when he was healthy, it was different, So the guys that they brought in, sure, I wish these guys all luck. So I hope people don't think I'm trying to hate or anything like that. But there's nothing big that they're going to say. Now, if they came in this offseason saying, F the quarterback, we're going to have a running game, and they went and got a running back, then me and you can talk about it. But right now,
Yeah.
they're so into the quarterback. They're throwing the ball a lot. I've never seen so many stats about OTAs in my life. Oh, he went towards six. Oh, he didn't throw today.
The Browns keep posting that. Yeah.
OTAs, nobody gives it. Well, I guess people want to see like, oh, he does deserve to start, or he does this. But I mean, it's comical to me almost. Like, and they ain't saying nothing about the running game. Whether this guard is really being excelling, this center is playing off his butt. Like, you should see the run game. Like, they ain't saying nothing about the run game. So now you got our minds all entrenched on quarterbacks and receivers, and I don't even know who their main receiver is. And I'm just being real. Like that's the kind of stuff that you got to pick out and see like what's missing from the squad. You're so invested in things, but people it's like that smoking screen and stuff, man. You just think the quarterback. I'm like, who are their main receiver? I'm like,
exactly.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, they don't have a running back, really? Oh shit. Okay. Oh, hold on now. So and then we pay Miles. Well, we know Miles gonna be there. Okay, this is some dumb stuff. I said, y'all doing some smoke and mirrors to show because y'all gonna be a terrible team, and they might not win till they play Chicago.
Yeah,
they stack. No, look at their record. They season they have to play like they play y'all way in the, like maybe 10 or 11, and they might not win the game. Look at the schedule. You'll be like, dang, they got shoot, they might not win till they get to Chicago. And that's like and I'm just saying, I'm just kind of I'm poking the bear too. But if you look at the season, it don't look like you see a win in the first 8-9 weeks.
I'm going to call my shot right here. Week 7 at home versus the Dolphins. That'll be their first win.
Okay. Because
so it might be 1-6.
It might be cold. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be cold at Cleveland. So it might be cold at Cleveland. Might be cold. The ball might be a little slippery. You know what I'm saying? That might be it.
We'll see if Tua's playing in that game or not. Maybe that'll be Zach Wilson starting for Miami. You never know. Sorry, Tua.
Tua will be there, man.
Hopefully Tua's there.
We're gonna have a good
year. Sorry, Tua. I hate to bring that up. Yeah, you brought up a great point about the receiver. So Jerry Jeudy actually had like a career year last year, but outside of Jerry Jeudy, they're second.
Terrible team though. When you're on a terrible, put numbers up, it's not that great to me. Like, if you're on a terrible team and you put those kind of numbers up, okay, that's because you're the only option. Like, you supposed to put those numbers up. It's kind of like if you played for the Clippers back in the day and you were scoring 30, then they put you on like the Lakers back in the day and you scoring 5. It's like
Ron Harper. Yeah.
Same, you know what I'm saying? So he went from a team that he should have had the same numbers, but he go to a team that's sorry and you already got. Yeah, you're supposed to put the numbers up. You're the guy now. And like we said, who else do we have besides him? Thank you. So that's the kind of you see people that have these great careers or great seasons, but they're like on terrible teams and they just stack numbers up. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what it is. And I hope he continues to grow as a receiver and especially as a person and understand that this is what people want to see out of him. And that's why him and Steve Smith got into it, because Steve, this is what we wanted to see out you. You got your first Pro Bowl now. Now you're playing like we want you to play, but the team is 3-14. And I've seen a couple times that flashes from him in Denver when he was dropping balls. I seen flashes when he was running out of bounds. He could have turned it up and probably got a touchdown or two. So it's a lot he still needs to do to be a better player.
Yeah. You got Jerry Jeudy, then you got Cedric Tillman and Deontay Johnson, and that's really about it. They could really use a receiver. Judy's going to get a lot of targets. I don't see – this is going to be a tough year for the Browns. They got some nice young pieces to build towards the future, but not a lot that's going to move the needle this year. I think they're going to be better than 3-14, but I think they're like, one win, but 4-13, 5-12, 6-11 at best. I think they're going to be the worst team in the division, and it's a 2 to 3 year window in the future that they're looking towards. So they're not going to be a threat. And then the rest is going to be who figures it out. Steelers, Bengals, Ravens. The Ravens are definitely the favorite. and who among the Steelers or Bengals is gonna play well enough to get a wild card and get into the playoffs and try to make some noise in January. So it's going to
Right.
be interesting. Injuries, of course, are going to play a part. Whoever's healthy, but I'm rooting for. It's going to be fun though to see Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. I never thought I'd see that. I'm looking forward to watching that. I know you're not buying it, but Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, that's a
It's not that I'm not buying it. Okay, I am speaking from just a commentator type situation.
yeah,
How you feel as a person. I want to see everybody do great. That's just when I first started doing this. I used to always like powder puff. Oh, what they're gonna be good, and this gonna be. I'm like, nah, I gotta say like how I really feel now. And it's not
yeah,
that I don't want. I want Aaron to go out there and shoot, be MVP again. Who don't love Coach Tomlin? I don't care how. I don't care who.
exactly.
You can see Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark talking trash about him, but he loves him to death. But he's just being realistic because if you're sitting here telling all these false things about this guy's gonna be great, this guy's gonna be this, and that's all you say is positive stuff, people stop listening to you. They start toning you out. Like sometimes you
Yeah,
gotta be real. Like I think somebody told me when I was first got into this job, they were just like, "Hey, they can't be mad if you tell the truth." Like if you're just telling the truth, if you see on paper that he dropped the ball on the 1 yard line, he can't be mad about
yeah.
it. Now, if you start fabricating stuff about, oh, he was drunk that night and that's why he probably dropped the ball, then you
Some
might
Skip
lose
Bayless stuff.
saying stuff that's basically true. The last 2 years, Aaron Rodgers has not, the head hasn't won. I'm not saying he hasn't
Yeah,
played. I think he played well in the circumstances coming back from Achilles, which I seen a quarterback here in Atlanta come back from Achilles, and they was just always saying, "Oh, it's just his Achilles. It was just his Achilles. It was just his Achilles. It's his leg. It's his leg." And then Aaron Rodgers going through the same thing, but it's like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is horrible." I'm like, ain't nobody talking about. But also, Aaron Rodgers played the role of being Superman and trying to walk on it, doing all
yes,
during the season, knowing he wasn't coming back. So everybody was thinking like he was healthy or he was just healthy, but he was just recovering during the season. He was going to be a monster coming this year. But people got to put it in respect. He came back from Achilles. Like, dude, like last year was really just a rebuilding year for him. The confidence you got to have. Like one thing I can say, every game when I suffered my first injury to my groin, my rookie year, is not. So that was probably 6 games in a year. So 186 games after that. Every game I was scared to get hurt. I played hard, but I had to zone out. But it was every game I was like, when I win the game, I'm like, please don't get hurt because I gotta be. I get hurt this game, and it seemed like every time I would stop thinking about it, then I get hurt. So, but every game I used to sit there and think like, so that stuff still goes to your head. Like even like he wasn't hurt a lot in his career, so for him it might be like, okay, that was just 1 year and I could shake it off. But a lot of us players that have been hurt, like with Chubb, even though Chubb coming back and he has another team, God bless the Texans for giving him another opportunity.
yeah,
But things like that people don't understand, like picture him on the field now being that young guy and thinking like, man, I can't go through another one of these. Still wanting to play hard, still wanting to practice hard, still want all this stuff to come to you, but in the back of your mind, like, this might be the last one. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if people are going to look at me and be like, okay, I know he's a good guy and everything. So it's just a lot of opportunities out there. But like I said, I wish everyone plays. But I wish we could have every game is just like 9-8, 9-8, 9-8. Then they go to the playoffs and you see
yeah.
football. You know what I mean?
Ideally,
Yeah, you watching the basketball now. OKC in Indiana is probably the best series I've seen in so long, and I think
yeah,
basketball is. I don't know how the viewership is doing it, but you're looking at 2 good teams, not 2 good players. It's not highlighted by like, oh, this player is playing like this. Oh, we can't wait to see LeBron. Or we can't wait to see this guy. Where's Anthony Edwards? None of that. You got SGA played a hell of a year, and it's just good. You got Halliburton. It's just like, but it's also team. It's just team ball, and that's what I think. The NFL. When you see it, that's what I'm talking about with Pittsburgh. We need that. When I'm talking about the Ravens, which have been a good team, has a player that look like a good team. You're talking about Cincy. I don't know right now because of the defensive stuff. And then you got a new coordinator that doesn't have his pieces.
exactly.
Not saying these players aren't smart, but you got to understand that we don't like defensive coordinators sometimes. We might not like our position coach sometimes. So we need more time with a coach that we like. Like if I don't
Yeah.
like my D line coach, I need to be able to be cool with the D coordinator. If I don't like the D coordinator, I need to be tight with my D line coach. If I don't like none of y'all, I need to be cool with the head coach. If I don't like the head coach, bro, I gotta have my teammates on my back because that's just how stuff works. It ain't just
Yeah.
like we work together and it's just like a regular job. People work at McDonald's. They might not like the fry cook. They might be working on one. All this stuff, but you still got to work together. And that's what people don't understand about this sport. It's tougher than people think. I know we get paid well, but it's tough being in that locker room sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm rooting for the Steelers. There's been a lot of negative talk about Mike Tomlin lately, and I don't understand it. He's a winner no matter what. And I just feel like as long as Rodgers can stay healthy, and Sean Merriman had a good point. He said when he tore his Achilles, he wasn't fully 100% back to his old self until 2 years after the injury. So he's like, maybe Rodgers is finally getting, back to his old self. I just feel like Rodgers has got to be better than what Russell Wilson was last year, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett. If you give the Steelers just a little bit better quarterback play, who knows? And they got that great dominant defense. Maybe Caleb Johnson, the rookie, can get the running game going. We'll see. Um, but right now, on paper, there's no way not to say the Ravens are the favorite. And the big question is, can Lamar lead this team to a championship? That's what, and Lamar said that early in his career about he wants a championship. That's what he's playing for. So I think, with Derrick Henry back and all that, D Hop over there now, let's go Ravens. Roquan Smith, I'm never going to forgive my Bears for getting rid of Roquan Smith. I'm half a Ravens fan now, so let's go Ravens. Let's get this ring, and it's going to be a fun year. I'm ready for it to start now. I'm ready for preseason. I'm ready for week one.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely waiting for. It's going to be so many different stuff. The season's going to start. People that we think they're going to be there, that's not going to be there. Injuries
Yeah.
going to happen. It's going to be the whole list of what we talk about now can change in 1 second. Like
Yeah.
literally everything we're talking about. Oh, he's down. Oh, the whole season's messed up. Then we're going to have some player that nobody expected going to just mess the league up, and they're going to be like talking about him every week and how great he is. You know how football is, man. So it's the biggest soap opera in the world, man. I
Yeah.
mean, soccer, soccer is bigger than us probably in other countries, but we're in the U.S., baby. We're in
Yeah.
the U.S. We're trying to see some football, some real football. It ain't soccer. It's football, baby.
Hey, they got soccer over there, but guess what? They're selling out those stadiums every time the NFL comes over.
Right.
We know football king, our
Yeah,
football here in America. But
exactly.
yeah, it's the greatest sport. NFL and NBA used to be tied for me. Now NFL has bypassed them by far. They've taken over Christmas. So
We have better soap operas.
yeah.
Soap operas are better because think about it, you only get us once a week. So you can sit here and wait for that to occur. But they soap operas are 4, 5. They got 82
Yeah.
shows. So you can watch this show, and this show does nothing for your day. You go watch the show, does nothing for your day. They really don't climax to the playoffs. My sister was like, "Why you don't never watch the games?" I said, "There's 82 of them, and they really don't get
Yeah,
to the playoffs."
I agree.
Yeah, like I'm like, dude, I don't. It's not like I don't want to see LeBron anymore. It's not like I don't want to see Chris Paul and all those guys. But this is just like watching a whole new cast. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like watching the basketball now. Like, oh, it's a whole new cast. It's interesting now. Oh, I can watch this now. Let me turn on my big screen today and watch now. Because before I'll just like click on to see who's winning. Oh, okay. I'll watch the final game, but that's about it. But now
Yeah.
that's like that kind of drama is every week for the football is every week. You get 16
Yeah.
times watching, maybe 20 if you get lucky. You know what I mean? So you got to sit there and watch. I mean, 17, but 16 maybe if you get lucky. But like you get to sit there and you get the opportunity to go to the game and watch the opera. You can sit there and watch your best player. Like it don't have to be. It's 22 people on the field, but you get to watch that guy. You can sit there, and so I think it's just a bigger suspenseful thing. You know what I mean? You have the whole week to
Yeah.
build. The only team that practices more than it plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a diehard. I'll get excited for preseason week one. I'll get excited for, London early Sunday morning with two teams with losing records. I don't care. If it's NFL football, I'm there.
just want to watch one breakout play.
Yeah.
Trying to see the script they wrote for the week, huh? Damn script.
Well,
Yeah.
good shit as always, man. It's always fun having you on. We're 2 divisions down and getting hyped for the season. Thanks for making the time to come on the show. That's our AFC North preview. And we'll get Amanda back on soon. Stay tuned for our player interviews and our division previews as we get ready for the season. Thanks, John. And peace out, guys.